Sometimes I wonder. You know, there's 270 million of you people out there. 270 million of you. And out of that 270 million, the ones that voted, the majority of you voted for President Trump. The majority of you voted for your senator, federal one, that's in your area. And the majority of you voted for your congressman, who is in your area. And the majority of you voted for all your state representatives and leaders. You voted them in. The minority did not. And I'm going to tell you something. The gays didn't vote them in either, because there's not enough gays to do that. Well, maybe in a certain district you might have more gays than you have regulars, because that's just where they happen to be collecting. But all over America, all 50 states of you guys out there voted for your governors, and the majority of you guys in your states voted for him. And I guarantee you, no gays, no transsexuals, no cross-dressers, no homophobics, nobody else. So these weird small minority organizations and people, groups of people, voted them in. The majority did. The majority. Because that's the way our country is made. Our country is made that the majority rules. And that's the way it's been since the big concept in the beginning of this country. Now, that's not saying that these other groups, these minority groups, don't have rights. They do, of course. And rightly so. They should. I mean, you shouldn't be able to discriminate against, these people just because of their beliefs and the way they want to live and things of that nature. No. But they also don't have the ability to override the majority. Now, they can stand up and ask and jump up and down and scream and holler and cry about certain things. And if they're just, hey, the majority will always jump up and stand up for the downtrodden and for the lesser. We always have. We're Americans. That's what we do. We stand up for those who should have the right of freedom and the pursuit of happiness in that context. Okay? So, if gays want to get married, enjoy yourselves. Let them. It's not a government issue, as far as I'm concerned. It's an individual issue. Government doesn't have the right to say who you can marry, who you can't marry. Well, yes, it can. You're right. Because some of you people, majority, in your states or whatever, have made laws like that, where we rule and we say you can't. And I agree with some of them. I don't think a man should be able to marry a dog. That's weird. I mean, that's just straight weird. Or child molestation. I don't think that's a right. I think that's a sicko that needs to be removed from society. On that same token, gays have a responsibility. Transsexuals have a responsibilities. Cross-dress, all these other minority class of groups, whatever you want to call them, have a responsibility, a very big responsibility. And that is also to honor our government. You don't have a right to bash your president. You don't have a right to bash your governor. You don't have a right to bash a senator. You don't have a right to bash your congressman. You don't. You're supposed to honor them. Honoring doesn't mean bashing. Okay, now I'm going to go on the other side of that fence and say, well, but what if they're doing things that are illegal? That's a legal thing. That's not bashing. Now, if someone's doing something illegal, by all means, get together, lock them up. Throw the key away, as far as I'm concerned, if that's what the law says do with them. But their job, if they're trying their best to be a good mayor, if they're trying their best to be a good governor, if they're trying their best to do whatever they have been elected to do, you have a responsibility of supporting that. Now, if you find one that's sitting there taking money on the backside or supporting the gun makers and lobbyists or something like that, or they're doing things that are shady, call it out. That's not bashing. We know that. That's calling as the old saying goes, that's calling a spade a spade. When you got cards in your hand and they're all diamonds and one of them is a spade, you call it a spade. That's what you do. You're wrong. You cannot take bribes. You cannot take money from lobbyists of a certain amount or whatever it is. You can't. That's wrong. But you don't bash them because, well, I just don't like the way he's doing things. You shouldn't do it. I'm sorry. That's not the way you do things. I did not like Clinton. I'm going to tell you right out. I did not like that man. I thought the man from the very beginning was shady. And I'm an Arkansasier. I'm from Arkansas. I didn't like him. I don't like him now. I didn't like him then. I still don't like him. I never will like him. And far as I'm concerned, he should have been thrown in jail because he broke the law. That man broke the law. There's a law in force right now in civil service. And that's what he was. He was the head of civil service. He was the man, the macho Bruno man, number one man of the civil service. Civil service is those people that are, that work in departments that help you get your driver's license and stuff like that. Okay? That's what civil service is. And he's the head of them. And one of the laws says that if you're a manager and you have people that are working below you, that you have direct influence on their job, time at work, time off, money, pay and stuff like that, credit for doing certain things. If you're an intern, you're working for one, you have influence on that person's internship. In other words, if you have direct control of any kind at all, you cannot have any kind of relationship with that person, a personal relationship. It has to be above board and always professional. So you look at it that way and you say, okay, but Clinton didn't. Clinton had sex with an intern that was working for him against the law. The man should have been arrested, thrown in jail, and not president. But what did we do? We didn't do a thing about it. Why? It's a good question. So, but the presidencies, there were good presidents, and there were bad presidents. Let's take Kennedy. Kennedy had a relationship with Marilyn Monroe. Big whoop. Yeah, it was adultery. Was it against the law? No. Marilyn didn't work for him. There's no breaking the law there. That's it. It's in. It's over with. You can't say anything about that as against him. All right? If they break the law, you get them. But you don't bash them. You don't jump on them and say, oh, you're doing a bad job. He's changing that. He's doing this now. He's trying his best. Just like your governors. Just like your mayors. I mean, they're all doing their best they can. It's not an easy job. Trying to, how president has to appease 270 million people. Governor has to appease about 80 to 100, maybe 80 million people or less. And mayors are like in, maybe a million down to 150,000 or something. Okay? In other words, but they got to appease all those people. They gotta look at the majority of what's going on in their area of responsibility and do what's right. Back off. Don't listen to organizations like CNN. CNN is the most corrupt news organization on this planet. Trust me. They used to be the best news reporting agent ever, because they were founded on just recording the real truth. We didn't make substances, we didn't make theories, we didn't try to second guess anything. We just showed you what was true. And you made a decision. You looked at it and saw what it was for what it was, and that's it. They're not that way anymore. It's money to them. If they can get you excited, you watch more of them, and he generates more and more of this contention going on, they're going to make more money. Stop listening to them. Go to their supporters, to their advertisers that advertise on CNN, and say, we're not going to buy from you anymore because you support CNN. Please do that as fast as you can, as fervently as you can. Please. Okay, I got another rant, but I'm going to take a break.